I thought you were about to say you won't be on immersion.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
so let's get started. I'm going to start and stop my screen because I don't want to show you everything. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you, is it going to start? Yes, okay. Your screen. Okay, so uh, Tulane has a really great resource called Psych Test. But in order to get there, you have to go through APA PsychNet. Um, and um, I guess I'll have to show you. Okay, well, I'm going to have to come back to that one. That one's not working right. One of the really valuable tools that we have at, there are actually two of them through EBSCOhost. The first one is the Mental Measurements Yearbook. And so if you can search this pretty much the way that you do any other search. For example, if you're familiar with doing searches with PsycInfo, it has all of the same kinds of fields. So if you know the author of the name of a test, you can enter that. If you just want to know the test category, you can enter that. So let's start by give me a population that you would want to do some survey on.
Can we back up a tiny bit? And how did you get here? So I just searched
Mm,
EBSCOhost
yeah.
mental measurements yearbook,
Yep.
and I got to a screen that looks different than yours.
Well,
Maybe it's because I'm not signed in.
yeah. Did you sign in?
No, do I sign into EBSCO.net?
Yes. Let me see if I can get there. So you go to databases, and this one is Mental Measurements Yearbook. So you can look under M, or you can enter it in here.
Okay, I think I'm getting there. My computer's just being really slow.
Okay, so we went to AZ databases. I typed in mental measurements, and that brought up the Mental Measurements Yearbook. I click on that, and it shows me the, well, of course, you're going to ask me for my credentials again. So it brings up the EBSCOhost search bar. So now we're back to give me a population that you would want to administer a survey to or an instrument to.
Geriatrics.
Okay. And how about um, the purpose?
Disaster cleanup. We'll merge Heidi and my stuff.
Yep, no results for that one.
Oh man,
I know
old
that's
people don't have disasters apparently.
yeah, right.
So that was really nice. But well, hospice will probably bring something up.
Let's try depression.
Depression works.
Yeah, or I was gonna say animal grief, if that doesn't pop up.
Oh look, I've arrived. The website's finally picked up speed.
I don't know why it's not finding anything. That is so weird.
They didn't find anything for aging and depression either. Come on now. You tell me there's
Yeah.
nothing?
Well, this one is not, frankly, this one is not one of my favorites, but if you poke around long enough, I think I find this one most valuable when you know the author and you're looking like you remember Beck, but you don't remember the exact test, but you know it has to do with depression. So,
Depression in teenagers didn't bring anything up.
yeah, this one is use smart texting. I don't know.
I just said yes to that too. We'll see what happens.
We go. Okay, so let's say that you want to get the information, maybe the norms on an original study. So you can type in the name of the author, and then you can see all of the different studies that he's done. Everybody's pretty familiar with, for example, the Beck Depression Inventory, but there are others that might be better. I happen to like the Beck Hopelessness Scale. Um, and then, of course, a lot of people don't know that he also has an anxiety scale, a hopelessness scale. I use this one all of the time because I have a lot of clients who are suicidal. So I use the Beck scale for suicide ideation. Um, and so this gives you all of the information about it. What it will not do is give you the instrument itself. Oftentimes you have to buy that, but it should give you information about the reliability and where you can find the study that was published. So in this case, I would go to Beck et al. And look at this article, which probably would have the original test in it. And if you use that, then you really don't have to go to Pearson and pay them $1.50 or whatever
Just
for
wandered in there to you, huh?
administering it.
Over on the other side of my chair, and Reed's laying on her pillow.
Okay, are we ready to move on from the mental measurements yearbook?
Yes.
She didn't mind being outside on the deck and that when the boys were mowing and not getting outside pretty much.
Pretty good. Um, hey, my computer is so slow today. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so you can know how to find it. Okay, so I went to the main website. I didn't even enter databases, and I just entered SciNet. And then if you scroll down, number 4 down here is psych tests. You cannot get to psych tests without going through SciNet for some reason. I'm not crazy about that, but this this is also a searchable one. But you can do basically an advanced search here. So here we're going to do a test lookup, and you can see a huge list of different tests. So if you know what you're looking for, you can enter it in there, and you can see some are in Chinese or other languages. But if you just want to do a search, so we're going to do geriatric. Let's do assessments and grief in any field. And so you can see we have come up with 3 psych tests, a caregiver grief inventory, a typical beliefs questionnaire, and a caregiver self-assessment questionnaire. And so you can go through, you can see the different test versions. You can look at the description, which is just like looking at an abstract, but that's really helpful. I have actually found a lot of tests that I use on SciNet psych tests. So, for example, and so I've used in various times. This one is fairly new, but it's also really good. A lot of different stress scales. Because I'm interested in military health, I kind of grab onto some of these, the military. Anyway, the point is that you can find a lot of really great tests. So let's look at what Heidi is interested in. Animal. You want assisted therapy? What do you want to look at, Heidi, for animal?
You could do animals and try disaster.
Right.
I think.
Hmm.
So
I'm
there
actually
are
impressed that brought up anything,
Yeah.
really.
the questionnaire regarding disasters in pets was developed. It was developed to assess disaster-related behaviors of pet owners affected by the East Japan Great Earthquake in March 2011.
You ever
So
heard of a pet attachment scale?
No,
It's a thing, apparently.
I could see that being important to reflecting on if people look at their animals as only a pet or if they think of them as a family member.
there we go. Lexicon attachment to pet scale. That's the Brazilian version, but dog
Dog
owner
owner
relationship
relationship.
scale. Cat owner relationship scale, pet attachment questionnaire. I love it that they have some of these in, different
Commitment to
languages.
pets. I've seen that in some of my disaster brochure research.
I think this is the one that, here's
Ooh, a
the
dog attachment measure.
pet attachment questionnaire. A self-report measure that assesses attachment, anxiety, and avoidance in relationships with pets.
Yeah. The other one would probably be a better fit, the one that was commitments to pet. So when we think of disasters, whether or not people will leave them,
Mm-hmm.
stay, or take them with them.
So the
Right
commitments to test scale, self-reported assessment of a pet owner's resolve to keep a companion animal despite challenges that require expenditure of money, time, or effort on the part of the human, zoonotic risk, or changes in household circumstances. I think that's a great one.
If you hit test,
Mhm.
does it bring up the tool?
It does.
Oh my goodness.
It will at least bring up the information about where you can
Where
find it. But it's really, really valuable. Okay, so we've got a couple now, but the key one for this one that I think we have to remember is that the only way to get to the psych tests is to go through PsychNet. Something people aren't generally told.
So one more, when you go to PsychNet, I'm there currently. I am logged in. In the advanced search box, you typed in psych test.
Yes.
Because I did that. It didn't bring.
Actually, the psych test is on the right bar. If you see where my cursor is,
Yep.
you can see the test lookup over
test
here.
lookup. Mine doesn't have that. Mine says author lookup, journal lookup. Oh, because it still is. Hold on. Back it up. I don't understand what malfunction is here. I'll get it. I see where it is on yours, and that'll get me there.
Yeah. Okay.
I have faith.
Okay, now we're going to look at the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality. The government, God bless them, keeps all of the surveys that they use. And this one is really about, as it says, patient experiences. And so if you scroll down, you can see that it has patient experiences with providers, patient experience with condition-specific care. So, for example, you can look at mental health care, mental health. So it has an outpatient mental health survey. It has a lot. So this is a really valuable one if you're doing anything on patient outcomes. Is the client satisfied with the care that they're receiving? And you can see it comes in different settings, home health care, hospice. So let's take a look at hospice. So they have a hospice survey, how to get there.
Yeah, that's how you get your star rating.
Yeah. But anyway, the main point is that this is one of the sources that is really good for finding things. They also have a site here for funding and grants, which has been helpful to me in the past because most of them are listed under Federal Register notices. All the grants that the government publishes have to be published there. So anyway, that is that one.
Ooh, and research policies. So if you
Sorry?
wanted to look up, but there's also a section in here about research policies, just like if you wanted to
Hmm.
look up a specific policy to, I don't know, maybe you're thinking about doing a certain type of study.
Yeah.
It's a helpful
Okay,
website.
so we're done with the Tulane University ones. These are some of the ones that I have saved because I use them so much. Let's start with,
Robin, we're currently looking at your calendar.
how's that?
That's better.
Okay. Now everybody's going to know my calendar, which is just fine.
Oh,
Um,
I wasn't seeing that. I was seeing the Tulane Library.
Oh, were you? Well, then
Uh-huh.
only I'm going to know your calendar, and I promise you, I didn't study it. I can't keep track of my own stuff, let alone other people's.
it looks like there's a lot of blank space on there, but that's actually like when I'm writing like frenzy,
Right.
crazy person I am. Okay, so you can see this one is from the Center for Research on Environmental Decisions out of Columbia University. This one's really awesome. You can actually add tests. So the key point there is that not everything you find on this particular site um, is validated. Most of them that I've found are, um, but you can see you can go through the A to Z scales. You can look at decision, risk attitude, cognitive ability, motivation. So I have some clients who have some real motivation related
Robin froze, huh?
satisfaction. Sorry.
Did you freeze, or is that just, am I having all the issues over here?
She did freeze.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
I'm
like,
gonna.
wait a minute. It can't just be me.
You have to tell me these things.
You
Okay,
said
here we
that was
go.
out of where? Which university?
Columbia University.
Columbia.
It's
Okay,
from
I'm
their
making sure it's
Center
on the
for
right one.
Research. It's got an odd name because it says Center on Research for Environmental Decisions, but it is really about decision making individual differences inventory. Um, and I don't know why they call it that because there are tons of inventories. It's not like just one, and they're not all about decision making. But whatever the they have some that are on decision making measures, but they also have risk attitude measures, cognitive ability measures, motivation measures. So here's one that I use um, because of the problems with interpersonal motivation. So some of these are games that I can play with them online. Um, there's always like fear of negative evaluation, need for affiliation and achievement, need for arousal. So you can see there's just a ton of them. The one disadvantage of this one is that they do not have a centralized search. So you can't, do like the other ones and put in a search term and find something. You really have to go measure, you really have to go searching for it. But it helps to know what category you're looking for. So, for example, moral reasoning. Um, Probably everybody's familiar with this one, the moral authority scale. Anyway, is any of this helping?
Absolutely. I'm bookmarking websites all along the way.
Okay. All right. So let me pull up another one. This one is the Rand. I love Rand. Oh, this is super good. Um,
I love how excited you get.
This one has a search, which is really, I love when they have searches. You can see that they have featured surveys, ones that they've used, serious illness, quality of life, um, RAND medical outcomes study, patient satisfaction questionnaires. Those are, really important ones. And then you can explore surveys by topic. This is really kind of one of my go-to searches. And unfortunately, you do have to occasionally buy one, but most of these are free. So, but if you give me an idea, so we were talking about disaster. Let's see if they have anything on disaster. So disaster management. Not all of these are instruments. But for the surveys, as you can see, there's tons of them. This one is really famous. So it, of course, gives you instructions on how to score it. And then more information. So this is a really valuable one. Okay. Now you get to look at my email. Oh my God. 687 emails that need to be read.
That's it? I'm joking.
Here's another really great site. It's the test collection at ETS. And it contains a database of more than 25,000 tests and other measurement devices. Most of them were created outside of ETS, but it has some tests that go back. And so it contains tests from the US and from elsewhere. This is also a site where, if you want, you can add your test to the collection, which of course means when you're searching for a test, you may not find one that's valid and reliable. So, they have some intrusive thoughts questionnaire, dispositional resilience, trauma scale.
Ooh, that IT security disaster recovery skills test. I wonder if that's about like what you do with your electronics, like your computers.
It's a
Oh, as
test.
far as viruses and things?
Yeah, like a
Is that what you
cyber attack, like a
I think
I mean
so, because I came across somebody that was doing some consulting work, and he was using that terminology, but that's what he was referring to,
interesting.
his computer, not physical disasters.
I mean, because that can definitely be not a natural disaster, but like a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
They have an animal husbandry test. They have tons of these. They're not all related, but it's a valuable resource. Like I said, it's got 25,000 tests, so you may find something valuable in there. And I would say, as an evidence-based practitioner, part of what we have to do when we're looking for instruments is, spend some time searching for one that fits what we're doing. This is actually another pretty good site by Merlot. I don't remember what they're kind of a consortium that collects tests related to social sciences and psychology. And they have a nice categorization, so you can actually look in the different categories: social sciences assessment, ABCs of personal growth, online psychology test, self-report measures of adult attachment. You can even find tests for teaching. So let's see if they have anything in here about animal and attachment. Well, I'll just put the attachment. Well, I don't know why that came up, but one result for animal attachment. More info. All right. So anyway, it's a resource. And then we have that's basically it. That's really all I have for you. But I think the big takeaway is that you really have to do some digging. You're not going to find what you're looking for by going to Psych Info and typing in a topic and then putting in instrument or assessment. That really doesn't help one find the tests that one is looking for. I find psych tests to be one of the most valid and reliable for finding tests. And I pretty much always start there. But then I often come to Merlot for, for example, measures of adult attachment or some psychology tests.
Robin, I really appreciate you showing us all this stuff. It's very helpful.
Yes,
Well,
I agree. Thank you.
yeah, I wish I had more to share, but that's about it.
No, that's good stuff. Definitely gives us lots to start with, and
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me share with you.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
very helpful. Especially for me thinking disaster, I'm like, where to start? And look, there's all these measures that might be possible workable ones, or at least somewhere to start.
One of the things that, how do I say this? They probably wouldn't teach until you got into your third research methods course, is that there are ways of combining specific instruments. So I'm sorry, specific questions from different instruments, and reporting the validity of both of the tests that were used. The key is to use questions from validated instruments. And if you look at the original testing, they will have data on the specific reliability of that question, and how well it fit with all of the other questions. Where you get in trouble if you're trying to publish something is when you just kind of come up with a question on your own that may sound really fascinating, but there's no way of seeing whether it's valid or reliable. And there's so many, as you probably remember, there's so many different kinds of validity that, depending on who's reviewing the paper, they may say, well, this doesn't have very good face validity. And if you can cite the original study showing, that the purpose of the test was similar, you really have a leg up. So, as my favorite character, Forrest Gump, says, and that's all I have to say about that.